welcome to this review of my Meletrix Boog75 keyboard, or as the box reads, Booger75. It was sent in by Meletrix themselves, who also sent in the Chill Key ND75 I reviewed before. This Booger is basically a Hall effect version of their Zoom 75 keyboard, which I've gotten multiple review requests for, but I figured the magnetic version would be a little bit more up my alley. This is going to be a fairly straightforward video, so I'm going to keep this one a bit shorter than usual. To kick off, this is one of those custom-like aluminium housing jobbies, which is becoming more and more mainstream, kind of like Hall effect itself actually. A few years ago something like this would have been very special, but now you can just buy one commercially. That said, for a commercial keyboard, this is a fairly deluxe housing. It's extremely heavy and also comes with these golden engraved lines. At the front it's just these here, but there are also some at the side, and especially at the back it's much more elaborate. It's quite nice, almost a shame you don't normally get to see this. This is what appears to be a weight in here as well, which I asked my contact at Meletrix about, but he completely stopped responding to my email, so there were several things I couldn't get clarification on, unfortunately. There are also some other color options to choose from, including a simple white one, a black one, and a black-green funky one. The latter has a very futuristic looking design on the back. Maybe I like that one even better than this one actually. Like I mentioned, it is extremely heavy. Even for a metal keyboard, it weighs almost 2.3 kilos, or in imperial units, he chonky. For a small 75% keyboard like this, that's a lot of weight. I mean, that's more than an IBM Model M, and that's practically twice the size. I don't know, maybe it's because of that thing on the back? So from my understanding, apart from the color options, so far the keyboard is basically the same as the Zoom 75, but the difference with the Booger is that this comes with Hall effect switches. Specifically, in this case, it's Gateron KS-37B, which is one of their dual rail Hall effect switch offerings. Now, in my experience, Gateron magnetic switches are pretty good. Very smooth, nice lightweight. The dual rail setup is there to improve stability, but to be honest, I don't think it's necessary. In my experience, Gateron magnetic switches are some of the smoothest and best linear switches out there, not just on the market, but in history. And trust me, I know my history, so take it from me, they're good. Now, on Meletrix's website, which by the way has an infuriating amount of pop-ups and giveaway bullshit, I'd really like it if they got rid of all that crap, they have several somewhat strange claims, such as square magnet design with freely adjustable magnetic pole orientation, supports multi-directional Hall effect sensing, as well as extending the stem for better switch stability, and integrated spotlight lens design enhancing light guidance, and especially every switch features a very tight housing and a very good coat of factory lube. Now, like I said, the guy at Meletrix refused to answer my question, so I couldn't determine whether any of this is a special trait for Meletrix's version of these switches, or whether they adjusted or picked the switches themselves after they got them from Gateron, or whether all this is just standard for KS-37B, let alone what results these things are supposed to yield. I mean, things like extending the stem for better switch stability makes sense, but some other claims like every switch features a very tight housing sound pretty damn spurious. I think I want to see some numbers here and preferably some structure property relation studies before I buy into any of that, because this frankly just sounds like a load of marketing bullshit. The stabilizers also come pre-lubed. That is done by Meletrix themselves apparently, and there are a bunch of gaskets in it, which combined with their weighty and utterly inflexible housing results in a rather muted sound, which is typical for builds like these. On the other hand, the extra long stems, I think, might bring the sound back out a little bit more again. Now, I get it, Hall effect switches are usually not the best sounding option, so making them sound more dead is probably preferable to a lot of people. I mean, let's be honest, it's not exactly. Meletrix uses its own website configurator software, so you don't need to download anything, which is nice. But for you QMK freaks out there, it is not compatible with QMK at all, or even with VIA for that matter. Now, I found that configurator to be okay, I just really don't like the way you adjust the actuation point. You can't select individual keys to adjust. First you need to press one key and then select them. And you need to do this every time you change something, because if you don't press one key first, then you change it for everything. Now, this might not sound too bad, but it's easy to do it wrong, and as a result I accidentally set the actuation depth for the whole board at 3.9 millimeters rather than just for the caps lock, which led me to believe that the board was broken or something. But it was just that I tried playing around with the values but had not pressed one key every single time, so it had changed the value for the whole board. Also, I can't seem to get this key here to reset to normal values. I have no idea why. Of course, the fact that it has adjustable actuation at all is a good thing. It's one of the main benefits of analog switches in my opinion. But I've harped on that for many times already, so I'm going to skip over that for now. Suffice it to say, it's got all the tricks, including rapid trigger function, etc. that gamers could want. In fact, it's heavily marketed towards gamers. Clearly, this is not intended as an office keyboard. Not to say it can't be used as such, though you may find the layout somewhat cramped if you do. The keycaps are double-shot PBT with non-shine-through legends, which makes their claims about their supposedly mega superior yet suspiciously standard-looking light pipes all that more nonsensical. That said, these keycaps are pretty nice, if somewhat standard-looking. Good stuff though. Apparently they consider this a custom keycap set, although I don't know who made this. I guess it's because of the color of the lettering and this animal keycap on the escape key here. So all in all, it comes across as a pretty competent Hall effect keyboard with a custom-like build. Like I said, by now perhaps that's not the most remarkable thing in the world anymore, but what I do find somewhat surprising is the cost. It's $190 pre-built, undiscounted. Now, of course, it is a smaller keyboard, which is going to save on costs, but many contactless keyboards, even with conventional chassis, are around or over $200. I mean, even the Wooting 60HE, which has a plastic chassis and is even smaller, costs the same $190. The Apex Pro, even the TKL, also plastic, is still $220, though I really do love that keyboard, admittedly. The Gateron Q1 does have a metal housing like this, but that's $240, and Keychron tends to be priced really competitively, so in this regard it's not bad. So in any case, my point should be clear: barring the annoying website and superfluous marketing bullshit, it's a decent Hall effect keyboard, nothing really wrong with it, with a fairly luxurious housing for not too much money considering average prices in the segment. Personally, I think the look isn't that great, especially this weird lump at the back, and it's such a shame that the nice looking part of the keyboard is hidden away. Plus, there is no full-size version of this keyboard, so it's not exactly for me, but if this is the kind of keyboard you're in the market for, I think it's a decent choice. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.